Today we're going to talk about the Revit Classification Manager. The first thing you need to do is to go into Setup, and we can select it. The dialog box just gives you two options, whether it's going to be the US database or the UK. There is a custom option as well, but we'll come to that a bit later. Click on Finish, and now we go to Assign Classifications. Now this is always best done after you have applied your COBie, if it's COBie parameters that you want to apply. Okay, because if you don't, it will give you an error message and say that you haven't run the COBie setup. So I have on this instance, so we can continue. So the first thing we're going to do is add one to the facility itself, and you'll see that there's a list to the new Uniclass tables. And firstly, you just choose its occupancy or usage. So we're going to say administrative, and then administrative office, and finally it will be a single occupation building. Tick in COBie parameters and click on Finish. Now if you don't have COBie set or haven't run through the COBie setup, it will give you an error message at this point. And just to see those parameters that I've added, if we now go to Manage and Project Information, you'll see that there it is. There's the classification, single occupancy office building, and there's the number. So that's the first thing, and you can fill in all of this information, which helps us when we do the COBie, run the COBie checks later. So the next thing we want to do is to add it to the components themselves, and it's better if you select the components. So I'm going to select a number of components. I'm going to use the filter tool to refine that selection. So there's the filter tool, and we're going to say let's check none, and let's go to air terminals, and we say OK. Now we go back to our classification manager, and you'll see we can choose air terminals. Well, firstly we have to change it to individual objects rather than systems, and now it finds our air terminals. And then we can go down the list and we can expand it, and it's air diffusers. And similarly with that, if we now go to the object itself, just by picking one, and then go to the Edit Type box, scroll down, you will see that there it is. It's been added in as well. Okay. Now for systems themselves, you can also set their classification. So at the side of the screen you can see I've got the system browser, and you can do them globally. If I choose Return Air as a selection, and then I can go to the Classification Manager and choose the Systems table, and then I can choose from the list of what it is. So I look down and say it's going to be heating and cooling, or ventilation, air conditioning systems. There's one, and we can say, or even this one down the bottom here, central air conditioning systems. We have used a fan cool unit as our source of heating and cooling, so that's the one I'm going to choose. I click on Finish, and similarly now if I scroll down in the Properties palette, you'll see it's added that as well. Now the classifications themselves, you can choose any of the presets, but you can also open up a custom database, and that allows you to go and find one. And there are some standard ones that come within Revit, which just allow you, once you find them, to open up to add in your own values as well. So that's quite a quick and brief overview of the Classification Manager. If you want to know more about it and go through this process, we as a company run a course which is called BIM Level 2, where we go over the finer points of it. Thank you.